Giga Texas is 86% done, and I got some new visualizations and areas discussed this week, so let's check it out. I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. A quick thanks to the newest Patreon, Stephen J. Blackthorne at the cool level. Very cool. And please smack the like button early so others might actually get to see this video, since it's the only way YouTube will actually show this to others. One of my Patreons suggested a better way I could show the progress, since graphs can be a tad boring, so thanks for that suggestion, and let's take a look at this week's graph and a work update with the new visualizations. The site and foundation are now counted in lockstep, so the addition of new footings along the central corridor helped, and with the final grading in other areas, it looks like there will not be footings, so those are being counted as well. Both of these figures are over 98% done. The framing grew quite a bit, expanding from 8 rows of steel to 12.5, taking the overall site to over 95% framed. The pace remains quick, with 2 cranes lifting steel into place, and a third one managing the deliveries of steel as they arrive. The site's overall progress climbed 1.4% this week, thanks to all this steel and foundation work, plus the lagging indicators of roof and interior, which are counted more slowly. To my continued surprise, we're still looking at a December completion date by these numbers, though again, I've said this before, I hasten to point out that these numbers are mistaken, and it's mathematically impossible to finish in December. We're only 10 weeks from the end of the year, but interior spaces take 17 weeks to fully rack up on this tracker, so it's going to get into the 92% plus range and slow dramatically in a few weeks. The roof climbed nicely. As you can see, a lot of new layers were being added around the site, but these aren't counted numerically like the previous elements. It gets 50% when the first layer is down, and the other 50% counts over the following 4 months. This is surely undercounted, but that's a refinement I can address on the next building that we track. This number will jump significantly next week as the roof coverage is added in the central corridor, which began after this video went into the edit, but before it was complete. The interior completion saw another big jump despite very few new walls, primarily on the strength of the lagging accounting of areas already closed off. Next week may see the biggest increase for dried-in areas, which would start counting on the November 1st update. And in this central corridor, we don't need new walls. We got the walls. We just need the roof to go on, so it goes straight from sticks to having a roof and the interior all at once. Stay tuned after the week-by-week bit, because there will be an explanation of work going on elsewhere around the site. I've put timestamps for all of these different sections in the description, so you can skip around as needed. So this is what Giga Texas looks like as of October 18th, 2021. And now, let's roll it back to December 14th when this tracker first launched and go through it as we do week by week. And I've sped up the time lapse a tad once again, so hopefully that helps. To understand the sitemap, this is the overall footprint of the main building. The orange is the footings, with the darker orange being heavier footings. The gray is the framing work, with the darker gray indicating roof sections. In blue, you see the finished interior closed-off space, with darker blue indicating more floors. Yes, we track the floors. So the darker the blue, the more floors that there are. The black lines indicate a firewall or expansion joint, with the heavier black lines indicating a concrete wall. And as a reminder, this only tracks the main Emerald footprint, not any of the other projects around the site, since we haven't seen permits and we don't know what their eventual size and scope will be. Mad thanks to Jeff Roberts for allowing use of his amazing drone footage. So there it is, and there you go. As of October 18th, Giga Texas, the future birthplace of Yo Cybertruck, is 86% done and will be complete, for lack of a better word, in a total of 528 days from groundbreaking on or about December 30th of this very year. It will actually be done in some capacity before then, and also not completely done until sometime after then, but there's a longer explanation of that in last week's video. I'll put a link in the description. There is just over 8.7 million square feet framed up, which is about 814,000 square meters, a figure that's likely to continue climbing over the coming weeks as it makes its way to a final size of just about 9 million square feet, or 835,000 square meters. So now let's talk about some of the other big areas around the site where we've seen or are likely to see developments soon. The construction staging area nearest to the highway off-ramp has been cleared out for parking. The area near the southwest corner had been used as storage for the robots installed in the factory, and it now appears to be parking as well. Just south of it is what appears to be another water detention pond, and there's a clearing next to it they've been pushing dirt around in for a while. Anybody's guess what this is. It could be as simple as a temporary loading and logistics area. We just don't know. To the east of the power lines is the area we'd seen permits for under the name Project Bobcat, which we believed would be the battery cathode plant, though it's been used for material staging for months now. Across the highway, there's been clearing and grading for months as well, with a footprint prepped, complete with Tesla's typical 45-degree corners, where we have heard that offices will be built. Could this be the new headquarters for Tesla? And my favorite bit of land reclamation is over by the original Martin Marietta concrete plant. Not the batch plant used exclusively for the site's construction, but the original plant that's been there for years. They've apparently been told that they'll need to move their operation at some point, potentially just across the highway, but there is the matter of the mountains of concrete leftovers that have accumulated over the years, which were just dumped on the site. Well, they've been in the process of grinding it up into basically sand, which can be used as fill material in place of sand in some applications. The good news here is that Tesla doesn't appear to be planning to simply bury it. While it may feel like this tracker's winding down, it just isn't likely. Construction's probably going to begin on one of these other buildings in the other parts of the site fairly soon, and of course we'll be tracking those as well. Thanks to those of you who joined the live stream last week, where we talked about how the megapacks are well positioned to massively increase revenue in coming quarters and beyond, and a handful of other factors that just make Tesla unstoppable. And a heads up that there will be another live stream this coming Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific as well, where we'll cover some of the crazy math based on whatever we find out in the quarterly earnings calls. I've looked at some of the estimates, and there's gonna be some fun in there if the numbers are remotely accurate. So subscribe if you haven't to get notified, follow me on Twitter at 4K Podcast, and a smack of the thummy thing in either direction if you made it this far. So what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below, and as always, my friends, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I simply cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop. And a quick thank you to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, an ad-free experience, and to help keep the channel running for as little as $1 a month. I move this shout out to the end as a thank you to all of you for your generosity and support, which helps me avoid having to pander to YouTube's dreaded and painful algorithm. I thank you guys all so much.